It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. That's a quote that you've probably heard a million times before, acting as a reminder of how a bad decision can end all that you've built in an instant. Today we'll be talking about Chuggaaconroy, whose multiple bad decisions led to one of the swiftest downfalls you'll ever see. Chuggaaconroy has been in the gaming content space for a while now, releasing his first Let's Play on March 26, 2008, entitled Earthbound Part 1 Meteor. It's pretty dated in terms of visual quality, but Chugga was clearly a natural when it came to that kind of content, which led to him amassing a huge fan base of well over 1 million subscribers, and most people viewed him as someone who was a pretty wholesome guy. Everything was going great for Chugga, then someone posted on Reddit that he was a creator who was squeaky clean, which led to this tweet from Lady Emily. Scrolling through Reddit and seeing dozens of comments calling the popular YouTuber who sexually harassed you for several months last year a wholesome being with only green flags. People were obviously confused by this, so she later clarified by saying, "Just to get it off my chest, last year Chuggaaconroy tried to get me to initiate erotic foot fetish roleplay with him while he also had a girlfriend. This included sending shoes to my house under the guise of a gift, only to be constantly asked for feet pics afterwards." She would then go on to show multiple screenshots of them speaking and a video of the messages proving that they were in fact from Chugga's Discord account. As to whether or not this fell under the legal umbrella of sexual harassment, I'm not sure. These messages were uncomfortable at best. Constantly pestering someone for feet pics is not really something you should be doing. As a whole, this was bad but not career ending, and Chugga could still come back from this if he handled it correctly. There would be a hit to his reputation, but outside of that he could proceed as normal. And Chugga ended up releasing an apology on Facebook in order to get his side of the story out there. "Hey all, I ask first of anyone who thinks it's helping to insult Emily on my behalf. Please don't send any further negativity her way. Emily should be treated with respect. I know that I have hurt Emily with my actions. These are choices I have made myself, and I don't think it's relevant how I felt or what my intentions were to justify my actions. I just want to say that the end result is that I really hurt you and made you uncomfortable. I hate that anyone made you feel that way, and I wish you the best. It took me longer than it should have to take the hint that something was wrong when you cut contact with me. I shouldn't have assumed that you were just busy with traveling and things were fine. I only began putting it together when the silence continued. I pestered you for too long, and I apologize for doing so. When you communicated this to me privately a few months ago, I apologized to you directly and promised I would never repeat this kind of behavior again with anyone else. Once you shared how I made you feel, it was a huge wake-up call, and I immediately sought professional help through therapy. I've worked in the months ever since then to do what you have wished for me, learn and be better. I have done and said similar things in years past to other people. I am still friends with some of them, while I have fallen out of contact with others. If you were uncomfortable with how I behaved, this apology is for you as well. No matter my intentions, I am sorry the impact was harmful. I will not reach out to you myself again. I would like to briefly clear up speculation about my relationship. I love my girlfriend. She was aware that this conversation took place, consented to it, saw what was posted. It crossed no lines set between us at the start of our relationship, and we are still together. I trust her to tell me if I do something to upset her. I wish to take this space to thank her for being with me through this and apologize for the immense amount of stress my situation has caused her, because that hasn't been fair to her. Separately from above, I want to touch on online discussion about other previous comments I've made about shoes over the years. Fitness and footwear are among my hobbies and are not strictly fueled by anything more. I can get passionate about my interests, and I now understand how this can come across and how it can negatively affect others. One last time, I recognize that I have hurt people and need to be held accountable for it. I respect anyone who feels hurt or disappointed. I decided around the time of the incident that I would never do this again and learn from it, but I would understand if you don't wish to support me any longer. There are a few issues with this apology. Firstly, admitting to having done this thing before and saying that you're sorry to them as well isn't really a good way to say sorry. If you want to say something to someone, address that specific person directly. Secondly, Lady Emily ended up responding to this by saying the two of them had never talked about this privately, and while that isn't proof in the slightest, I'm sure that by the end of this video you'll be more likely to side with her. The only other problem I have with this is that it's so long. An apology doesn't have a word requirement, just get to the point and end it. In Chuggaa's defense, people did respond pretty well to this and things were looking up for him. This is the last bit of positivity left in the story. Masaya Nella, a longtime associate of Chuggaa, spoke out against him in a Twitter thread. After the number of people who inquired about Chuggaaconroy over MagFest, I feel that I need to make this clear. I have not associated with Emil for years, nor are we friends. Any cameo, Splatoon 2, recorded long before our falling out, or any interaction/mention, Coliseum Twitch chat, was posted and done without my consent after I made it clear that I did not want to be associated. I am uncomfortable with the way he has talked to/about me in the past, which has been a huge point of distress. Combined with the way he's spoken to/about others, particularly women, in private and in public, it is concerning, and I do not want to associate with that behavior. Emil has historically been one to push boundaries, and being faced with a following as large as his is absolutely harrowing. Even establishing my own boundaries carries an inherent risk. For a long time, not rocking the boat felt like a better option. I've seen the recent posts and his apology. I have privately received several from him over the years that have rung hollow with his actions. I am tired of hearing it, have no more chances to give, and am exhausted from pretending/politely dodging topics when he is brought up. She then goes on to say that she intends to avoid him forever and she doesn't want to discuss him anymore. This led to an avalanche of people disavowing Chuggaa, multiple of them being women with similar stories. At this point, Chuggaa was labeled a weirdo, but things still weren't completely over. If this was it, the drama would have ended there and he would just be known as the guy who makes women uncomfortable by begging for feet pics. There are other YouTubers into crazier things. The only problem is, what came next blew everything else out of the water. Things came to a head on January 25th of 2024 when a 48-page Google Doc dropped detailing Chuggaa's relations with a 15-year-old girl when he was 19. The girl, who went by the name Lolly, allegedly communicated with Chuggaa over AIM, then logging their messages on Gaia Online, an anime-themed internet forum. These chats are a textbook showing of a creepy guy preying on a young girl who doesn't know any better. While this isn't lock him up forever level evidence, I think you would agree that faking all of these messages would take way too much time for someone who was just holding a grudge for whatever reason and decided that an allegation would be the best revenge. Just putting out an allegation would be enough if that was the goal. This is one of the most well put together allegation documents I have ever seen, and it seems like this is what will do Chuggaa's career in. This girl has proof that she has had long-term contact with Chuggaa, and when you combine that with the fact that there are 48 pages of chat logs between the two, the optics of the situation make it clear that no one will ever want to associate with him again. Chuggaa has now reportedly entered rehab and plans to ride off into the sunset after he gets out. Chuggaa had one of the most airtight reputations on the internet, and because of that very reputation, the people he had wronged were afraid to speak out. Up until the release of the Google Doc, people were still defending him, and that is pretty understandable. This is a guy who's been around for 17 years, and people tend to grow attached to someone who has been around for that long. As this situation has unfolded, tons of former fans have made statements about how deeply devastated they are by these developments, and it seems like the whole thing is showing just how parasocial some people can get. It feels like these guys lost faith in someone who they really trusted, and the violation of that trust cut deep. There's two lessons to be learned here. Don't put too much faith in a content creator because you don't know them, and if you have a good image, live up to that image. Failing to do so can lead to you losing everything.